United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. My name is Lieutenant Lauren Schmiegel. I'm a native of Buffalo, New York, and I'm a 2014 graduate of the United States Naval Academy. While here at the Naval Academy, I was a mathematics major. I participated in Navy field hockey and also in the Women's Glee Club, which is our choir. After graduation, I selected Surface Warfare Officer. You'll learn more about that here in a little bit. I served on 2 different ships, and then for my shore duty, I came back here to Annapolis, Maryland as a regional counselor. So what that means is I am here to assist anybody interested in the Naval Academy to learn about the institution, but also help them through the application process. So what you're going to see today is a brief about the Naval Academy. I'm going to give you the ins and outs of the institution and talk you through the application process. So the Naval Academy, we are a military training unit, so welcome, right? Welcome to the military, welcome to the lingo, welcome to the acronyms, and your first test is right here on this slide, the Yard. So what is the Yard? The Yard is our campus. That's what we call our campus here at the Naval Academy. We're located in Annapolis, Maryland, 25 miles to Washington, D.C., 25 miles to Baltimore, so perfect location with lots of great cities around us. Now, in addition, we have 3 major airports around us. It's a quick train ride to Philadelphia, quick train ride to New York City, so any and all family and friends have easy access to come visit students here at the Naval Academy. Now, in addition to our physical location, downtown Annapolis, it can't get any better than that. When I was a midshipman here, it literally took me 4 minutes to walk from my dormitory out to downtown Annapolis. And being the capital of Maryland, there are always arts festivals or boat shows and different just ways to socialize yourself in the community. Outside of that, though, the Yard itself. I tell students and midshipmen or prospective candidates that they could essentially be here for 4 years and survive without ever having to leave the Yard. However, I wouldn't suggest it. Definitely go out into town, get that crab dip, get that Maryland crab soup, grab your coffee and enjoy the arts and that kind of thing. But the Yard, truly, you can survive here without ever having to leave. We have all of our medical facilities. We have a post office. We have physical therapy. We have a cobbler where you can go and get your shoes fixed, without going and buying a new pair of shoes. We have a restaurant, we have a coffee shop, we have what's called a midshipman store where you can go and you can buy school supplies, or you can go down and get some snacks. Oreos were always my favorite. Or you can go down and get some cool Go Navy, Beat Army gear at that midshipman store. Outside of, just everyday facilities that you might use to, sustain your studies and make sure you have everything you need, our athletic facilities are world class. So we have 22 athletic facilities here on the Yard, open to everybody. So you don't need to be a varsity athlete, you don't need to be training for something, you just have to be a student here to use those facilities. And when I say that we have world-class athletic facilities, I truly mean it. So we have Major League Baseball teams coming to use our baseball stadium. We had Michael Phelps come and train in our Olympic-sized pool. So truly, top-of-the-line equipment, state-of-the-art facilities, all for your use just to be a student here. So we like to say that it's not about the 4 years that you're here at the Naval Academy, it's about the next 40. And what we mean by that is your 4 years here at the Naval Academy is going to set you up and prepare you for career and life in the military, and if you decide to leave the military someday, outside of the military. So if you are familiar with different publications like U.S. News and World Reports or Forbes, where they list different statistics about colleges and universities around the nation, the Naval Academy consistently is on top. So most recently, in 2020, we are the #4 undergraduate engineering program in the nation. And I want you to think about that. So when you think about top engineering schools, you're probably thinking MIT, Purdue, Georgia Tech. But there we are, Naval Academy, #4 program in the country. We're also the #1 liberal arts school and the #1 public college, so definitely a lot of accolades here at the Naval Academy.
So you want to be a pilot? What an amazing idea. I know it can be confusing. I know there's a lot of information and there's a lot of questions that you probably have at this stage about what it takes to...
Here's your next test of lingo. So a midshipman is a student at the Naval Academy, and the Brigade of Midshipmen is our student body. So from this point forward, you're going to hear me say midshipman. When I say a midshipman, I'm referring to our students. So our Brigade of Midshipmen is compiled of people from every background. You've got people coming from public school, private school, home school. Maybe they've already started college. Maybe they're already in the fleet, meaning they're an enlisted sailor or an enlisted Marine, and they're looking to come here to the Naval Academy to earn their bachelor's degree and also earn a commission as an officer in the Navy or Marine Corps. We also have a brigade that is comprised of people from all over the world. Every state, every territory, and even international countries are represented here in our brigade at the Naval Academy. Our brigade is roughly 4,500 students. You see on this screen, we have about 28% female, 72% male. That obviously fluctuates from year to year, but that 4,500 number is pretty consistent from year to year. Here at the Naval Academy, we have 25 available majors, and they're split into 3 different groups. So you have engineering and weapons, math and science, and then humanities and social sciences, along with some available minors in the language that you see there on the bottom right. If you are a humanities and social sciences major, you must take at least 4 semesters of a language. However, it's only 6 semesters to earn that minor. So if you're a humanities and social sciences major, you see a lot of them graduating with a minor in a language as well. Some majors that I do want to point out, over here under engineering and weapons, our robotics and control engineering major. That is our equivalent of systems engineering at other institutions. The reason that we call ours robotics and control engineering is because you're not only learning the principles, you're actually building on what you learned. So you read the books, you take your tests, but then you also get to build robots and control systems. And that's why we named our major robotics and control engineering. Under the math and science grouping, you see cyber operations. So you're watching me on a phone, a tablet, a computer. Obviously, technology is extremely important in this world. Cyber is important, beyond important in this world, especially with all the cyber defense and that type of thing going on. Well, the Naval Academy, we are the leading institution for this major. In fact, we are the first institution to have an accredited cyber operations major. We have a brand new building completely dedicated to the major, and other schools are actually creating this major and modeling their curriculum off of ours, which is really neat. And then, of course, we have our humanities and social sciences, and again, the languages that are available. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you about our curriculum. I'm going to talk you through what you see here on the screen. You see classes in blue, classes in red, and then classes in green. And then in the gray boxes on top, you see 4/C, 3/C, 2/C, 1/C. So those are our years of students. So 4/C, those are our freshmen. We call them plebes here at the Naval Academy. 3/C are our sophomores. We call them youngsters. 2/C, those are our juniors. They don't necessarily get a cool name. They just start to get more liberty. And then 1/C, those are our seniors. We call them firsties. So the blue box, those are all the professional classes that you're going to take here at the Naval Academy. The red boxes are your STEM courses, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And then the green boxes, those are all your social sciences and humanities classes. Now, we call all of these classes on the screen the core curriculum. Now, what does that mean? Every single midshipman, regardless of your major, is going to be taking all of these classes in this core curriculum. So whether you're an English major or an aeronautical engineering major, everyone takes these classes. Now you can see 4/C, so like I said, that's plebe year, freshman year. Freshman fall is pretty filled, okay? And then you see some blank boxes starting in spring semester of your freshman year. That's not free time, that's not nap time. Those boxes will actually populate with classes pertaining to your major, which you're going to select in spring semester of your freshman year. So once you select your major, those gray boxes are going to fill up and populate with courses specific to your major. It seems like a lot, right? You're looking at this and you might say, oh no, I have to take physics. I'm not good at physics. That's okay because of all the academic resources that we have here to help you through. I promise this is tried and true and tested and you will survive. Now, again, it does seem like a lot, but I want to reinforce the standards that we have when it comes to academics here at the Naval Academy. By the time you graduate from the Naval Academy, you're going to be graduating with 120 plus credits. Civilian colleges and universities, you may only be graduating with 100 or so. So it just goes to show the emphasis that we put on academics here at the Naval Academy. Now, before we move on, I just want you to take note of how many STEM courses, again, those are the red boxes. I want you to take note of how many STEM courses everybody is required to take, and we'll revisit that idea later on in this presentation.
This is what Ivy League universities you can get into with a 3.6 GPA.
90% of students with a 4.0 plus GPAs get rejected from universities like Harvard, Stanford, and other top 10 universities. Your child needs these 3 key factors to get into an Ivy League or top 25 university. And it's not having a good GPA or SAT score. Let me explain. Top universities made SAT and ACT submissions optional. And with over 100,000 plus applicants a year, as a parent, you know your child needs to stand out. Top universities like Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, and others admit students who will have a successful career after graduation. This is what gives a university its prestige. Universities are businesses at the end of the day. And if they have great alumni who become successful, it's the best form of marketing for the university. And we know this because we've guided thousands of students in over 40 states to get into the top 25 universities. And we know that there are 3 factors in the admission criteria that universities are looking for. And that's why we have a free webinar where we go over these 3 main factors that prevent 6th to 12th graders from getting into the top colleges. And we cover the important parts of college admissions that are overlooked, why 90% of students with a 4.0 plus GPA are not accepted, what universities actually want in applicants but never say. Seats are limited, so reserve your spot by clicking the link below.
A vacation with Norwegian Cruise Line is so much more because there's more included. Like unlimited drinks, followed by amazing meals, plus free Wi-Fi. Oh, hey, Mom, I gotta go. I love you. Experience more with Norwegian.
Our classroom, and this may be one of my favorite things, our classrooms are extremely small here at the Naval Academy. So you see there, student to faculty ratio is about 8 to 1. So what does that mean? That means that for every 1 instructor, there are only 8 students. So in civilian colleges and universities, you may be sitting in lectures of 100 plus students. You may never meet your professor. You may only be taught by a teaching assistant, a TA, which is actually someone working on their degree. They don't actually have their degree. Here at the Naval Academy, you will not have a class of more than about 20 people. I think my biggest class was 19. And then once you get into your classes for your major, my classes were 5 or 6 people, so extremely small class size, which means you have close contact with your faculty. And your faculty, you see here, civilian to military faculty ratio is about 1 to 1. So half of your instructors are going to be military officers like myself, and half of them are going to be civilians. Now, I was talking about teaching assistants at the civilian universities and colleges. You will not see teaching assistants here at the Naval Academy. Your military instructors all have at least a master's degree, and your civilian instructors all have their doctorates. So you're getting operational and true academia expertise. Now, the great thing about having close contact with with your faculty is that they're going to know, all about you. They're going to know your name, your family background, your hometown background, maybe what you're involved in at the academy. So I know for me with Glee Club, I was traveling every so often, so I would miss classes, but my faculty, they knew when I would miss, they would help me out with the things I missed, and they kept, tight control over my studies even while I was gone, all because of that close contact. In addition, they're going to know, yes, what you are good at, but they are also going to recognize what you are struggling with. So for me in high school, I wasn't the best chemistry student. I did well, but I definitely was not a standout. And then it took me coming here to the Naval Academy for my chemistry professor to realize just what wasn't clicking for me. And she recognized that. And she would come in on Sunday evenings to help me get prepared for, Monday morning exams or tests. And it's because of that close contact that she was able to recognize what it was I was struggling with in the subject and help me succeed. So here's a snapshot of our daily schedule. You saw our core curriculum. It looked like a lot of classes. You might be wondering, how do I handle everything? I mean, I'm going to college. I'm trying to go to classes. I have military training. How do I fit it all in? Well, here's your schedule. You'll notice that it's pretty regimented, and that is very beneficial when you're trying to tackle everything that you want to tackle here at the Academy. So starting at 5:30 a.m., you got personal conditioning. You're going to wake up, you're going to get that blood flowing, blood pumping, you're going to get ready for your day. Then you see at 7 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m., it says formation followed by a meal. So what formation is that's your first military obligation of the day. So you get together with your classmates, other members of the brigade, and it's pretty much an accountability thing. So attendance is going to be taken, and then important information is going to get put out. So that's what formation is. After formation, the entire brigade of 4,500 midshipmen are all going to go down to our dining facility called King Hall. And King Hall serves 4,500 students in about 12 minutes, which is extremely impressive, and the food is great. My favorite were King Hall cookies and buff chick sandwiches, fantastic. And then obviously if you have dietary restrictions or dietary needs, they are there to provide. So good meals coming out of King Hall. Get your day started out right. You see that we have 2 blocks of academic classes. So you're going to have a block of classes in the morning and a block of classes in the afternoon, and those are split up by lunch. After your afternoon block of classes, you're going to have an athletic period. So if you're a varsity athlete or you're on any sports team, that's where you're going to go and practice with them or hold their workouts. This might be where you do some more personal conditioning or have your own workout. After athletic period, you're going to get washed up for dinner, head to dinner, and then after that you have a chunk of time to kind of do what you want with. Maybe you're in a club that's going to meet during that time, or maybe you just want to take a breather during that time. But starting at 8 p.m., you have an uninterrupted academic study period. So you're not playing video games, you're not surfing the internet, you are studying, you're focused on your classes, you're focused on preparing for your tests, exams, quizzes, you're getting extra instruction and tutoring and whatever you need to succeed academically, that is your uninterrupted period to do so.
Hey husbands, Valentine's Day is coming. And if you've found the love of your life, get her this. It comes in a heart-stopping red rose surprise box, and on the inside there's a...
All right, so aside from academics now, what do we offer as far as activities? Let's start with sports. So we are a Division I school, NCAA. So if you're looking to be a recruited athlete, you do have to register as a student athlete with NCAA first. But then feel free to go to our website, navysports.com, to look up our coaching staffs, start talking to the coaching staffs. As you can see, we have 33 varsity sports. Again, we are a Division I school, so very competitive. If being a varsity athlete isn't your thing, maybe you just don't want to fall under the umbrella of NCAA, but you still want to be competitive, well, we have a great option called club sports. Club sports, they often compete with maybe Division II or Division III level schools. they still travel. They're still extremely competitive. They just, again, don't fall under that NCAA umbrella. Our women's rugby team. I just want to point out that when I was a midshipman, all 3 of my roommates were rugby players, and they were asked to go to Russia for rugby championships to represent the United States of America. So imagine being a college student and you're on the club rugby team at the Naval Academy and you get asked to go and represent your country. That is really cool. And then our triathlon team and softball team, they consistently bring home collegiate championships. So again, very competitive, very good teams. And then if being a varsity athlete or a club athlete, just those aren't the things for you, you can go and be an intramural warrior and you can go play intramurals. And what these are is they're essentially just pickup games with your friends and other members of the brigade. So an awesome time to just go out, have fun, but without the pressures of training or well, there is definitely going to be competition between your peers, absolutely, but you don't need to feel the pressure of training and working out specific to a team. On the far side, you're going to see some athletic activity. So this is outside of the organized sports and organized teams. We have martial arts, we have 5Ks, 10Ks, marathons, we have the Brigade Boxing Championships. We are located on the Severn River in Chesapeake Bay, so maybe you'll take a kayak out and just kayak around the proximity of the yard. So definitely a lot of things to get involved in athletically. We also have a rock wall, so go over to the rock wall. Even if you've never done it before, give it a try. Something unique that not a lot of places offer. Outside of athletics, we have over 100 extracurricular activities. ECAs, so that's an acronym for you. So these ECAs, you're going to see 2 slides. There's this slide and then the slide following. These ECAs up here, this is not an all-encompassing list, okay? There are plenty more ECAs available. Now, I always challenge people, especially candidates applying to the Naval Academy, try to find something that you're not interested in, okay? So I guarantee you that when you come to the Naval Academy, there's going to be something that interests you. If there is not something that interests you, it is very, very easy to create your own ECA. So it takes a commissioned officer, a group of people who share a similar interest, and you can create your own ECA. A couple years ago, we had a midshipman create a skateboarding club here at the Naval Academy. We didn't have one previously. He was interested in it, and boom, he created his own club. Our music department is fantastic. I mentioned I was part of Women's Glee Club. I did things with Women's Glee Club I could have never imagined myself doing ever. Singing on a float in the Macy's Day Parade. I watched that when I was a little girl, and here I was, like my dreams coming true just because I was member of the Glee Club at the Naval Academy. So we've got cultural, music, and service ECAs. And then we also have academic, religious, and military professional. Again, this is not an all-encompassing list. I am sure there are a lot of you out there who like to travel or who want to travel, and the Naval Academy is an incredible place to do that. So international experience. It's a goal of the Naval Academy to have at least 75 to 80% of the brigade travel overseas at just one point during their 4 years here. So what does that consist of? That could be a semester abroad where you're studying overseas for an entire semester. Maybe it's going overseas during your spring break. Maybe it's over your holiday break. Maybe it's a month in the summer. Basically, whenever you have time to travel overseas, there's an opportunity to do so. You don't need to be a part of a specific major or even a specific club. Sometimes you'll just get an email and it'll go to the entire brigade of midshipmen asking, hey, who's interested in traveling to Brazil? Respond to this email. And then next thing you know, you could be traveling to Brazil. So you can see here just some different places on the screen that our midshipmen have traveled to. Argentina, Brazil, we go to the United Kingdom, China. One of my classmates studied for an entire semester in China. So fantastic opportunities. The other nice thing about traveling here at the Naval Academy is many of these trips are free of cost to you. Yeah, maybe you'll have to pay for some souvenirs and some food that you want to try, but most of them are all expenses covered, which is really neat. So at civilian colleges and universities, sometimes you have to be a part of a specific major or a club, but a lot of these trips are coming out of your pocket. Here at the Naval Academy, we just want you to go and be a diplomat for the Naval Academy, for the Navy, for the United States. So we want you to go overseas. We want you to absorb the culture, absorb the language, exercise positive diplomacy, and then bring that back here to us, to the Navy, and to our country. Pay and benefits. So if I have parents and guardians watching, this slide is for you. Okay, so what does it cost to come to the Naval Academy? All midshipmen will receive a full scholarship. Full scholarship here at the Naval Academy is truly a full scholarship, full tuition, full room and board, and full medical and dental coverage. If you're applying to civilian colleges and universities, or even maybe ROTC programs, and they tell you that you earned a full scholarship, just read the fine print, because a lot of times that only means full tuition. And if you're looking to go to college away from home, the most expensive part is usually room and board. But here at the Naval Academy, we cover it all. Now, prospective midshipmen, this one is for you. You also get paid. So you're not paying anything for one of the top educations you could possibly get, but you're also getting paid. So every month your bank account is going to populate with some amount of money. So as a freshman, you're going to make about $100 to $120 a month, all the way up to when you're a senior, a firstie, and you're making about $600 a month. So on the screen that you see $1,150 a month, the way that this works is day one, you show up to the Naval Academy and you get issued a giant bag of everything you could need to survive here as a student. So your uniforms, you're going to be issued a laptop computer, desktop computer, you're going to get books and notebooks, pens, pencils, all of that. What you don't realize is as a midshipman, you're actually the one who's going to be paying off all those items eventually over the course of your 4 years. So that $1,150 a month, part of that money is going to go towards paying off those items, and the rest is what ends up in your bank account. So that's where that $100 a month all the way up to $600 a month comes from. Now, you're a college student. You are, again, not paying anything for a top education. You are getting paid just to go to class and just to focus on your studies and focus on your military training. It's a pretty tremendous deal. Let's talk about the summers. So at a civilian college or university, you're going to have 3 months of a summer to go and basically do whatever you want. So in May, they're going to say goodbye, and then they're just going to welcome you back in August. Here at the Naval Academy, you still get 3 months of summer. However, you only get 1 month to go off and do whatever you want. The other 2 months are going to be utilized for training purposes, and they're a blast, I promise you. So I'm going to walk you through this summer training. And this is in no particular order, it's just for ease of explaining. So it shows that you have vacation, you have a fleet cruise, and you have leadership development. But that's not the order that you're going to have them. Maybe your vacation is that last month of summer, or maybe your vacation is the middle month of the summer. Again, this is just for ease of explaining. So we talked about vacation. Go off, do whatever you want. Maybe you want to do some voluntary summer school. Maybe you want to do an internship. All that's there for you then. The next block, the middle block, is what we call a fleet cruise. So a fleet cruise is when you get sent out into the fleet. So big Navy, big Marine Corps, you are working with actual sailors and Marines and getting the experience that you need to be a commissioned officer. So between going into freshman year, your fleet cruise is considered plebe summer. So that's your indoctrination training to the Naval Academy. Between freshman and sophomore year, you're going to have an enlisted experience. So we're going to send you out on a ship, on a warship, and you're going to shadow an enlisted sailor just to see what it is they do from day to day, because someday you are going to be the one who is charged with leading those enlisted sailors. Between sophomore and junior year, you're going to have career exposure. So we call that ProTrMid, Professional Training for Midshipmen. So it's a month long, and that month is broken up into different weeks. So the first week you're going to spend with surface warfare community, the second, submarine community. Then you're going to spend a week with the aviation community, and then you're going to spend a week with the Marine Corps. So at this point, you're getting to spend time with a bunch of different communities, getting a sense of what it is that you might want to do after you graduate from the Naval Academy. And then between junior and senior year, by then you should really know what community you want to enter after the Naval Academy. So you're going to spend that summer with that respective community. And then lastly, that last month, leadership development. This could be, here at the Academy as a detailer for Plebe Summer. Maybe you're a detailer for one of our summer programs. Maybe you are, commanding one of our yard patrol boats. So they're these mini destroyers that are stationed here at the Academy, and you can take them to Mayport, you can take them to Boston, you can take them to New York City, but it is you that would be in charge of that evolution, which is really, really neat. So just different things available to expose you to leadership opportunities, exercise that peer leadership, and so on. When you graduate from the Naval Academy, you will graduate with a Bachelor of Science degree. So before, when we were going over the core curriculum, I told you to take note of all those STEM courses, and this is why. No matter what you major in at the Naval Academy, you will earn a Bachelor of Science degree. So if you're an English major, you're going to get a Bachelor of Science degree. Now, other institutions, if you're an English major, you're probably going to get a Bachelor of Arts. Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. What is the difference? A bachelor's degree is a bachelor's degree. They are both tremendous. However, a Bachelor of Science tells the world that you are versed in technology, that you are well versed in this STEM realm. And obviously, as we discussed before, things in this world today are very heavily focused on technology and STEM. So going out into the world with a Bachelor of Science degree is very, very advantageous. So again, if you're a political science major or a history major or an English major here at the Naval Academy, you're going to graduate with that Bachelor of Science degree. In addition to your degree, you're also going to be commissioned as an officer in either the Navy or Marine Corps. And then as a result of your education here at the Naval Academy, you do owe a minimum of 5 years active duty service.
Have you dreamed of getting your pilot license and soaring through the sky? Introducing Private Pilot Made Easy, your launch pad to turning those dreams into reality. Our Private Pilot Ground School comes with 35 hours of videos. Each lesson is 3 to 5 minutes long, allowing you to easily pick up from where you left off. Go through the class at your own pace. With lifetime access for a small one-time fee, you can come back anytime to brush up on your knowledge. We bring lessons to life with scenario-based training and interactive learning tools like our 3D airspace models. Professional 3D animations also help you breeze through complicated topics while truly understanding them. Our class comes with double the content of many popular alternatives so that you become...
So now I'm going to go over the different communities that you can enter from the Naval Academy. And the first, near and dear to my heart, is surface warfare. As I mentioned at the start, I am a surface warfare officer. So what does that consist of? A surface warfare officer, when you think of ships in the Navy, this is the community you're thinking of. You're focused on learning the equipment. You're focused on learning the mission. But even more so than that, you're driving the ship. And even more so than that, you are the division officer for junior enlisted sailors. They look to you, both in their work life and their personal life, to guide them. Our next community is submarine warfare, extremely similar to surface warfare, but you're undersea. So you're going to be obviously on a nuclear submarine, so you need that proper training. So you're going to spend about a year in Charleston, South Carolina, going through power school and prototype to learn the principles and actions of standing watch over a nuclear reactor. We have our aviation community. So there's a couple paths associated with this community. For starters, you can either be a pilot or a naval flight officer, NFO. So for all my Top Gun fans out there, pilot, think Maverick, NFO, think Goose. So Maverick, he's flying the plane. Those are or the helo, those are our pilots, and then Goose, our NFO, is doing everything else. So radio, communications, ground control, weapons, navigation, you name it. Now, aside from the pilot track or NFO track, then you get to choose. Do you want to be a fixed wing, or do you want to be rotary, which are all the helicopters, so fixed wing being the jets? So you have some decisions to make when it comes to this community. Now, aviation is one of those communities that your service commitment is longer than 5 years based on the training. So it's about 6 to 8 years. And the reason for that is because by the time you get through your training, you're already so close to that 5-year service commitment. And we want to use you, and we want to put you in those seats, which is why that service commitment is longer for our aviators. Special warfare, so our SEAL teams and our explosive ordnance disposal teams. And last but certainly not least, the Marine Corps. So if you choose to go to the Marine Corps after the Naval Academy, you have two choices: Marine Corps aviation, and you're going to follow the same track as the Navy aviators, or Marine Corps ground, which is everything else. So public affairs, intelligence, cyber, civil engineering, infantry, all that falls under Marine Corps ground. This is a snapshot of our 2020 service assignment. So what numbers of midshipmen got what community? You'll notice that on the left it says unrestricted line, and on the right it's restricted line. We put the majority of our midshipmen in the unrestricted line communities, which means that eventually, someday, they could be the commanding officer of a deployable unit. You'll notice, however, under our restricted line community, you'll see medical corps. We do offer slots every year for about 12 to 15 midshipmen to enter the medical corps. It is competitive, but if you're looking to be a doctor or a dentist, it's a fantastic track. We have the right curriculum here. We have the right academic advisors here to ensure that you're successful both on your MCATs and your first year in med school. So for those of you interested in being a doctor or dentist, it's a great opportunity. Let's talk about some summer programs now. So we do offer 2 summer programs, both in June for 6 days. The first one is Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, our STEM summer program. This is for rising 9th, 10th, and 11th graders. So any current 8th graders, any current 9th graders, and any current 10th graders can apply. Applications for this are going to open in January, and then they're going to close in April. So if you're interested in this, how it works is you go to our website and you just apply. Our website, usna.edu/admissions/STEM. Again, you're going to come to the Academy for 6 days in June, and you're going to integrate yourself in different academics. You're going to play around with different technologies. You're going to get to interact with different faculty and build robots and control systems and really get your hands dirty with STEM. Now, there is a fee associated with our STEM summer program. However, do not let that be the reason that you don't apply, because if you apply and you get into the STEM program, there is plenty of financial aid and scholarships available to help you with the fee. Our second summer program is Naval Academy Summer Seminar. Now, this is only for rising seniors, so if you are a current junior, you can apply for this. The applications for this also open in January, but they close a little earlier than the STEM program. Our summer seminar applications close in March. But you go to the same website, usna.edu/admissions, and then /NASS, NASS. So same as STEM, it's a summer program. 6 days in June, you're going to come here to the Naval Academy. But unlike STEM, that's very much focused on technology and the academics, Summer Seminar is going to expose you to what it is to have a life as a midshipman. So we're going to have physical workouts. You're going to go to academic workshops. You're going to get to talk to current midshipmen and really just get a sense of whether or not you think the Naval Academy is the place for you. So just like STEM, there is a fee associated with this program, but again, do not let that be the reason that you don't apply. If you apply and you get in, there is financial aid and scholarships available to help with that fee. Fantastic programs, but these programs are not at all required for you to get into the Naval Academy. Personally, I never went to these summer programs, but honestly, I wish I would have, because seeing them now or seeing them when I was a midshipman, they just look like an absolute blast, and you get to meet like-minded people and really get a sense of, is this the place for you? Let's talk now about the application. So basic eligibility. You have to be at least 17 years old and cannot have passed your 23rd birthday by the date of entry to the Naval Academy, which is your I-Day, typically July 1st. You have to be a United States citizen by I-Day. You cannot be married, pregnant, or have any sort of legal obligation to support another person. And you have to have good moral character.
Hey, stay-at-home mamas, ever notice how some robes stay buttery soft while others feel like sandpaper after a few?
Here is a snapshot of our website. This is our homepage. So for the summer programs, I was referencing usna.edu/admissions. This is it. So this is also where you're going to go to start a Naval Academy application, which will open April of your junior year. So in April of your junior year, you are able to go in and start an application. And the way it starts is with something called a preliminary application. A preliminary application must be completed in order to continue the official Naval Academy application. Now, if you applied for summer seminar, that counts as your preliminary application, so there's no need to go back and complete another. And here's our application. So once you complete your preliminary application or summer seminar application, you're going to be given a candidate number and instructions to go in and complete all these items and fulfill that application process. So starting from the top, personal statement. We're not looking for a Pulitzer Prize winning essay. You know, spend time on it, check for spelling, check for grammar, but don't spend all eternity. We just want you to answer the questions. Be honest with the questions. And there are two prompts, two questions. One, what sparked your interest in the Naval Academy? And two, give us an example of when you might have utilized good character or good integrity. Again, not looking for a Pulitzer Prize winning essay. Just answer both of those prompts in a single essay, 300 to 500 words, and you're done. The next, we have fitness assessment. So you do have to show that you are physically qualified to attend the Naval Academy, and that's done through something called the Candidate Fitness Assessment, which I'll address on the next slide. We ask for an activities record. Think of this as your resume. What do you do outside of the classroom? Do you babysit on a weekly basis? Do you have an outside job? What sports do you play? Are you captain? What clubs are you in? Do you have any leadership positions in those clubs? Maybe you're a Boy Scout or Girl Scout. That's all going to be indicated on your activities record. The next portion, academic information, that's completed by your counselor, just to give us a snapshot of what it is your class size is, maybe if you have a class rank, what your class rank is, what classes your school offers, and that type of information so we can put the pieces of the puzzle together. We only require 2 recommendations for our Naval Academy application, but we have very specific rules for what recommendations we will accept. So the 2 recommendations we require, one has to come from a math teacher and one has to come from an English teacher. Those teachers must have taught you either during the current year that you are applying or the previous year. So if you're applying and you're going to be a high school senior and you're completing your application, your teachers must have either taught you junior year or that first semester senior year. High school transcript. We need your high school transcript. We need to see what classes and what grades you've been taking and getting. Now the high school transcript, it can be sent by mail. Hard copy, snail mail, we will accept that. However, in that academic information that your counselor is going to fill out, they can upload an official transcript electronically through that academic information. So that's the preferred way, but we will accept high school transcripts by mail. Now, if you're a college student or you're taking dual enrollment classes or anything like that, or you have any external transcripts to your high school transcript, those will only be accepted through snail mail. So they have to be sent hard copy in an official capacity to our office. Official SAT or ACT scores. We do need standardized test scores. Now this year with the COVID environment, We're going towards something called test flexible. Okay, that is different than test optional. Test optional, if you don't take the test, no questions asked. However, test flexible, which we are here at the Naval Academy now, what that means is we're encouraging you to take the test. We're encouraging you to get those seats, take the test, submit your scores to us. However, given the situation and given the environment, we understand the difficulties that there may be right now. So if you're unable to take the test, we just ask that you submit written documentation of why you couldn't take those tests or why you couldn't submit the scores to us. We do super score here at the Naval Academy. So if you do submit your test scores and you're able to submit multiple test scores, we're just going to take the highest test scores across the board. We don't require SAT and ACT. It's just one or the other. You can take both if you want. I encourage it just to see, which test you perform better on. But even if you submit one SAT test and one ACT test, we're going to look at both of those tests and take the highest score across both of those. And then the last thing, which you don't see on here, is a blue and gold officer interview. So what that is a BGO, a blue and gold officer, is someone who's assigned to you locally. Maybe they're even assigned to your high school. But they're a great liaison to the Naval Academy and to this admissions process. And they are required to sit down with you one-on-one and complete an interview as part of your application. Okay, so back to that physical qualification I had referenced. Candidate fitness assessment. You must complete this to show us you're physically qualified. The CFA, candidate fitness assessment, again with those acronyms, it consists of 6 events. Basketball throw, so you're going to kneel down and with one arm you're going to throw a basketball as far as you can over your shoulder. We measure it in feet. Pull-ups. How many pull-ups can you do in 2 minutes? For all the females out there, if you cannot execute a single pull-up, you are welcome to do a flexed arm hang. So you get in position with your chin over the bar and see how long you can hold that position for. There's a 40-yard shuttle run. How many sit-ups can you do in 2 minutes? How many push-ups can you do in 2 minutes? And then a timed 1-mile run. So all the people that can administer this test for you are listed on the far side of the screen. It can be a PE teacher, a coach, active duty commissioned officer like myself. If you're part of a JROTC unit or ROTC unit, your instructor can administer this test to you. And then also your blue and gold officer can administer the test to you. Now, here is where we get a little different from those civilian colleges and universities. Yes, the CFA, obviously that physical qualification, that's definitely unique to the Naval Academy and the service academies. But this portion is as well. Medical qualifications. So if you're applying to a service academy, you have to be medically qualified. And the medical qualification process is done through an outside entity called DOBMERB, Department of Defense Medical Examination Review Board. So how this is going to work is you're going to get through 50% of your Naval Academy application. Once you get through that 50%, we will send your name off to DOBMERB, who's then going to create a profile for you. They will contact you via email. Now, for DOBMERB and through this process in general, keep an eye on your inbox and your spam folder. Any computer-generated emails often go to spam, so just a tip, be checking your spam folder because DOBMERB is notorious for having their emails end up in spam. Okay, so once they create a profile for you, they'll contact you via email and you're going to set up a DOBMERB portal. So our application is all electronic. You're going to have a portal for our application, but you're also going to have a portal for DOBMERB, and that's going to be your one-stop shop for everything medical. So if they need further direction from you, maybe further information, maybe they need you to come back in for a different appointment, that's going to be populated in your portal. So you need to be checking that until you get notified that your medical case is closed. Now, DOBMERB is going to make the decision on whether or not a candidate is medically qualified or medically disqualified. But again, Department of Defense. Keep that in mind. So they are doing these medical qualifications for everybody. Every service academy, officer candidate school, every single branch of service. So what is maybe medically disqualifying in the Army may not be medically disqualifying in the Navy, but DOBMERB is going to make that decision for the entire Department of Defense. So that being said, if you get medically disqualified by DOBMERB, do not give up on your application. Do not get discouraged, because what that means then is you're going to be forwarded to the Naval Academy medical team, who is going to review your specific case, and you might be able to receive a waiver for your case for entry to the Naval Academy and subsequent service to the Navy or Marine Corps. Here is another very unique part of the service academies. And before I go on, I do want to mention that if you're applying to multiple service academies, that medical qualification piece just needs to be completed once. You don't have to complete it for every single academy, just complete it once, and then DOBMERB will send your results to the respective academies. Very similar with the nominations. So nominations, what those are, they are endorsements from public figures saying, I want this person to represent my district or my state or, even my country at a service academy. There are multiple nomination sources, but there are 4 that pretty much every single person is eligible for. So I don't even know, who might be sitting in front of me right now, but I can tell you that you are eligible for 4 nominations. 2 state senators, 1 congressional representative, and the vice presidential nomination. Now you can find out about the different nomination sources on our website, usna.edu/admissions, and you can even apply for that vice presidential nomination, which again, everyone is eligible for. You can apply for that one right on our website. Now the congressional and Senate nominations, if you're applying to multiple service academies, you just apply to those nomination sources once, and then you just state what academies you're applying to, maybe what your preference of academy is. But if you're applying to the congressional and Senate nominations, it has to be domicile. So what that means is, where do you pay taxes? Where do your parents pay taxes? That is where the district in the state that you're going to be applying for nominations through. Now, the important thing about a nomination is when you're applying to it, the deadlines differ from our Naval Academy deadline. So our Naval Academy deadline is typically the end of January, but we moved it this year to February 28th. But nomination deadlines are typically in the fall. So be careful with that. Check the websites, check the respective websites of the representatives. Make sure you understand what the deadlines are, what the applications are asking for, because they are all different. So how does a nomination play into acceptance? So we call our acceptances fully qualified offers of appointment. And in order to obtain a fully qualified offer of appointment from the Naval Academy, you need to, yes, apply to the Naval Academy and complete our application. But in order to get that fully qualified offer of appointment, you also need to obtain that nomination. So that's where the nomination pieces come in. Here is a snapshot of our candidate cycle. So I mentioned about the summer programs. Those applications open in January. So let's say you're a junior right now. That application opens January of your junior year. Then you're going to have the preliminary application, if you did not apply to summer seminar, open April 1st of your junior year. But come senior year, that is when it is heavy with the nomination applications and finishing up your academy application. As mentioned, our academy application deadline this year is February 28th. All candidates will be notified of their status by April 15th. May 1st is the college signing deadline, and then boom, in the summer, if you were accepted, you're here for plebe summer, ready to go. Our admissions board, typically we start meeting in the fall, and then we meet every single week until we get through all those candidates by April. So for this slide, the biggest takeaway is, if your goal is to get to the Naval Academy, is to get accepted, please just finish your application. So these 4 blue boxes here, admissions board, okay, you've completed your application. The admissions board has reviewed your activities record, your transcript. We find you qualified. Okay, you're physically qualified, you're medically qualified, and you get that nomination. That's completing the application. So that preliminary application, over 16,000 people complete that preliminary application. And then only about 1,100 to 1,400 get that offer of appointment. So competing with 16,000 people seems pretty daunting for a chance at one of 1,100 spots. However, the number of people who actually complete the application is only about 4,000. So it's much better to just finish your application and compete with 4,000 instead of, not even finishing your application and competing with 16. We do offer some preparatory programs. So we have 2 preparatory programs. One is Naval Academy Preparatory School up in Newport, Rhode Island. The other is a foundation program. So that occurs at different colleges and universities across the nation. What these programs are, think of them as a 5-year program. So you spend a year at the prep school, you work on your academics and physical fitness, and then as long as you are scholastically sound and you're passing your physical tests and doing what you need to at the end of that prep year, you're going to roll into 4 years at the Naval Academy. Now there's no separate application for this prep program. What it is you're going to complete your application as normal, then you're going to be reviewed by the admissions board. If the admissions board thinks that you have a lot of potential to be a midshipman here at the Naval Academy, but maybe you're not quite ready for direct entry, maybe it's your grades or your standardized test scores, or even maybe physically, they may offer you a chance to go to prep school. So they'll offer you either Naval Academy Prep School, which is free of cost to an individual, or they may offer you the foundation program. To pay for a foundation program, that does come out of the personal pocket. However, there's plenty of financial aid and tuition assistance available. So some advice for admissions. What you see here, they are not at all requirements, just recommendations. So as an admissions counselor here at the Naval Academy, I would be doing you a disservice if I did not talk through these. So classes. We want a strong foundation in math and science. I encourage you to take math all 4 years. Try to take the highest math course that your school offers. Same thing with English. Take English or some sort of writing or reading course all 4 years. Also, if your school offers it, take chemistry, take physics, because those are the classes that when you get to the Naval Academy, you're going to be seeing, especially in your plebe year, your freshman year. So the more classes like that you take, the more prepared you'll be, and the better you'll be able to represent that preparedness on your transcript to the board. We do not have a minimum GPA, but we encourage students to be in the top 20% of their class. And then take your SAT and ACT tests as much as you can. Again, we super score, so if you have a score that you're not proud of, but then you score better later on down the line, then awesome, we'll ignore that lower score. Again, this year is very difficult, so remember that we have that test flexible option. Just let us know what your situation is. If you're in the application process right now, please be communicating with your admissions counselor to let them know what your status is. AP, honors, IB courses are encouraged. If your school offers them, definitely take them if you feel capable. Do not stack up your class schedule with APs or IB courses and then get C's and D's in all of them, okay? It's better to be confident and take those classes than to think it looks good and then fail them. And probably the most important thing is to be well-rounded. So you could get straight A's and perfect standardized test scores, but if you're not involved in anything, maybe you aren't the right person. We want to see that people are involved. We want to see that you have leadership potential, that you're getting out there in your school and community. So we truly are looking for that well-rounded person. So it's not enough to do well in classes. You have to show us that you're involved in your school and community. Okay, so top 5 reasons to go Navy. Number 1, you got that full scholarship, full tuition, room and board, and medical and dental. Number 2, you have a guaranteed job waiting for you. The day that you graduate, you start getting paid as a commissioned officer in either the Navy or Marine Corps. You don't have to put a resume together. You don't have to do a job search. You don't have to do interviews. You're a commissioned officer and you're ready to go. Our location, number 3, Annapolis, Maryland, capital of Maryland, sailing capital of the nation. I don't know, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, just the views walking around the campus are incredible. And like I said, fantastic crab dip to get out in town. Number 4, leadership and character development. So when I was talking about our summer training, I mentioned the leadership development portion. We are truly a leadership laboratory. I don't know what other institution, aside from here at the Naval Academy and the service academies, where you're going to exercise pure leadership. You're going to have a lot of responsibility that is going to make you better for when you get out into the military, and then if you leave the military, into the civilian sector. And number 5, we have an 89% graduation rate, which is very impressive. So what that means is 89% of our midshipmen will graduate with their bachelor's in 4 years. Across the nation, to graduate with a bachelor's degree in 4 years, it's less than 40%. So we more than doubled that percentage here at the Naval Academy. So it just goes to show that yes, our core curriculum and our schedule, it looked filled, right? But that 89% graduation rate is just testament to the fact that once you get here to the Naval Academy, we have every opportunity and every asset available to help you succeed and graduate. Here are some text opt-in options for you to take note of for our summer programs. And here are different websites. So that top one, usna.edu/admissions, that's our main website. That's where you're going to apply. Complete your preliminary application, apply for summer programs, look up different nominations, apply for the vice presidential nomination, find our majors, find information about communities. It's all there on that website. NavySports.com is the website to go to see who coaching staffs are and what teams are available, and maybe start talking to some coaches. And then the last 3 are just some social media handles. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for me, this is graduation day, May 23rd, 2014, a day I will never, ever forget. Probably the best day of my life. So I hope to see you all here and here someday. So please feel free to utilize us for any questions. Admissions counselors are always available. We are standing by to answer all your questions from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right on our website. Or just feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email, or visit our website and submit a ticket to contact somebody. So thank you for joining me. Love the Naval Academy and hope to